Hey guys, welcome back. We're going to finish up this article out of the Rubble today from our book, Off to Class. You'll notice one small word change in the learning target from yesterday. And it says, I can answer questions, that's the same, using key details about the solution in Out of the Rubble. So now we're going to be looking at the solution, whereas last time we focused on the problem. And then finally, we're going to write about the solution using details from the text, just like last time when we wrote about the problem. Okay, let's get back to the text. Okay, here I am back at the article Out of the Rubble. So last time we read this whole page and we talked about why it was hard for children in Port-au-Prince, Haiti to go to school. So we remember, if you'll remember, we remember that there was an earthquake that happened on January 12th, 2010, and it damaged and destroyed most of their school buildings. It said like about half of the buildings just kind of crumbled. And remember, it created all of this debris or rubble, which is all of these bricks and rocks and things that are down here. And so remember that they said it was so important to get these kids back in school to make their life feel closer to normal for a few hours a day. So the problem was, how do you get kids back to school when the world is in chaos all around them? Because you can't rebuild yet. You have all this debris here. So one solution we're going to read about today is on this page, tent schools. Okay. In the days after the earthquake, groups like UNICEF, Save the Children, and Plan International helped schools that were damaged or destroyed set up tents so their schools had somewhere to go for classes. Okay. They also set up tent schools near camps for people who had lost their homes. When it rained, the tent schools flooded and children had to go home. But on good days, the schools were full. All right, so what is this section mostly about? Yeah, it's about that UNICEF and Save the Children and Plan International, which were some groups that do good things for the world, they came in and set up tent schools so the kids could still have school because they didn't have time to build the buildings back up right away, but they could set those tents up maybe in a day. What a great solution. What do you notice about in this picture here in this tent school? Look inside. Yeah, they have desks in there, and the kids have a place to sit, and they have their desk. There's a lot of students. There's no walls, but the tent looks big. Okay, let's look over here at this picture, and let's read this caption. School in a box. UNICEF also delivered hundreds of school in a box kits. Each kit contains everything a teacher needs to set up a classroom. There is even a can of special paint that can be used to turn the box lid into a blackboard. Each kit has enough supplies for 40 students to get back to school, at least temporarily. Oh, wow, that's fantastic. So remember, all of the teachers and schools' supplies were destroyed in the earthquake too. So they didn't have the supplies that they needed. So UNICEF was able to bring these school in a box kits so that the teacher could set up a classroom. That's amazing. Let's look at this last picture here in caption, and then we'll finish reading the page. UNICEF sends the kits all over the world to help kids get back to school after disasters like tsunamis and earthquakes. They also send kits to places where wars keep kids from going to school. Oh, Oh, that is interesting. So, not just to Haiti, but UNICEF is a great organization that sends these school in a box kits to other places where their schools have been destroyed or there's been a disaster, like a tsunami or another earthquake, or maybe there's a war happening. So lots of groups can have these school in a box kits sent to them. Let's look at this last section now. A little laughter. Knowing that the kids were dealing with a lot of strong emotions, teachers wanted to make sure the tent schools were a fun and safe place. Besides having standard classes like reading, math, and French, they played games and sang songs. Hey, that's kind of like what we do. Teachers also encourage students to talk about their feelings so that they could start healing. That's another thing that we do. Okay, fact. More than 1,400 schools were destroyed in the earthquake in Haiti. All right, we have finished reading this article, so now it's time to think about the solution. So, I thought that I had my questions pulled. Yes, I do. Let me bring this over here. Okay, so now we're going to look at the assignment for today. And remember, you can go back and watch the video some, and you can also go back to Epic and you can reread the article too. But this is the note catcher that we started yesterday. So we don't need to fill in these things again. We don't need to write down the name of the school. We know that it's a tent school. And we don't need to write down the location because we know it's Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And we already wrote the problem down, so we won't do that again. The problem was that there was this earthquake that came that damaged and destroyed many of the buildings. So today we're going to write about the solution. Okay, so what was the solution for the destroyed schools in our book? What can we say here? I think we could say something about what UNICEF and what Save the Children and Plan International did when they helped. What did they do? Well, remember they built tent schools. They sent those kits for teachers to have supplies. Okay, so those are kind of two of the things that they did. Let's go down so you can put that in your solution box. But now today, we're going to pass over this why is the school important to the community for now. And we're going to come down here to our information about the solution and a conclusion statement. So what we want to do now is we want to give our reader some information about how the problem was solved. Let's look at how the person who's modeling this writing from Xixual, Brazil, the rainforest school, let's look at what they said. They said, so they solved this problem by building a new school. The new school has solar panels, computers, and the internet. Now all students can stay in their village and go to school. Okay, so that's what happened there in Brazil. What happened in Haiti? Could we borrow some of the same structure? What if we said, so they solved this problem by, and what did they do? What can we say? They didn't build a new school. They put up a tent school. And then this school, we said the new school has, and it listed the things they have. Well, our tent school, we don't see those things in the picture, but we did see in the picture what they do have. So we could say the tent school has, and we could list the desks and the chairs. And we could also say something about and materials. We could say something about that UNICEF sent kits for the teachers so that they would have school materials to teach with. That's fantastic. And now the kids can get back in school. Finally, we want a conclusion statement. Your conclusion statement is the last sentence of your paragraph. And what you want to do with that conclusion statement is you want to kind of just wrap up your thoughts, tie it all together, tell them what you've just told them. So down here, here's an example of what the Rainforest School said. They said, that is how the community solved the problem. Because that's what we just told them, right? So we're just telling them what we just told them. Could we use that same conclusion statement here? Sure, that works. That is how the community solved the problem. We could say, if we wanted to get a little more specific, we could say that is how the problem was solved in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. We could say, this is how the problem was solved. We could say, these are some ways the problem in Haiti was solved. There's several different ways you can do that. So think of a way that you like the way it sounds and write your conclusion statement. And now you've built your whole paragraph, your whole informational paragraph about the article Out of the Rubble. Great work. So finish that up and send me a picture. All right, bye. Really need drink.